Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Dead Money with Dan Arfin podcast. Like and subscribe to the channel so you get updated and notified about new episode releases, even though that fails to happen all the time with the podcasts I subscribe to. What a week to recap! My goodness, what a number of wild hand histories, a lot of tough decisions, crazy twists and turns, and a whole lot more. But before I get into that, I'm going to start with a few other things. I ran into a guy who I talked a lot about in Season 6 of Episode 1. This is a friendly, recreational player who can play respectably, maybe even more than that, if he tries to. But sometimes he just likes going all in dark, which he did twice that day. And both times I had a hand to call him, and both times he won. But when he saw me the other day, he said, Dan, whenever I'm feeling tilted, I always listen to that episode. And he does so because it cheers him up. That's what this is for. It's therapy. Then he added, why don't you try doing like the yin and the yang? He said, why don't you have like an episode where you're not all negative? Why don't you like try an episode that's all positive, alternate back and forth? And I thought that's an interesting idea. I told him I'll think about it. And I sincerely meant that. But after due consideration, no. I'm not going to make any sort of dedicated effort to having, quote, positive episodes to counter my, quote, negative episodes. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and all of y'all are free to personify each episode as positive, negative, or with any other adjective that so interests you. And moving on from that, I've just been thinking lately how your specific play style is going to dictate how your run bad will unfold. For instance, since I 3-bet a lot more than most, if not everyone, in the 2-5 population, then when things are going very annoyingly for me, that's going to look like me getting 4-bet a lot, whether it's a cold 4-bet or from the original raiser. And if you don't 3-bet that much, then you're not going to see and go through this occasional nuisance of being 4-bet left and right, but what is presumably by a bunch of premiums. If you're the type who likes to flat raises, and those players litter the 2-5 field, and probably lots of the cash game field in general, and then when things go shitty for you that way, you're going to get squeezed out a lot by 3-bets. Or you're just going to go multi-way and either have everything get cracked, or you just never flop anything when you're going to flops 3 to 5 ways consistently. And it's not something I deal with as often because I'm getting 4-bet. My VPIP is more greatly occupied with hands I'm 3-betting. So while I'm obviously still going to be in a lot of pots that go 3 ways or more, like when I raise and no one 3-bets, or when I close the action on the big blind with a hand that's not recommended to 3-bet with, it's not going to happen as often because when I 3-bet, I'm going to get way more results of either winning the pot pre or just playing it heads up. So that's all. And one other thing I thought of, it's very easy to summarize your bad beats when you're all in and you know exactly what you had to fade. Like if you have queens and he has jacks and he hits a jack, he 2-outed you. But when you're suddenly put in these excruciating spots that came like a complete bolt from the blue that are just so tilting, like you're betting for value and then all of a sudden you get raised at the strangest time and, now you want to shoot yourself. I think one way of looking at it is like you got 2-outed by the spot. It wasn't a 2-outer from the deck exactly. It was like a 2-outer spot. Like the jacks is going to crack the queens about 5% of the time with one card to go. But, if you find yourself in a specific spot where in the real world is a spot that would only happen 5% of the time, you in essence got 2-outed by the spot, regardless of you figuring out what to do or anything. It's not a 2-outer in terms of what the opponent's exact equity was. You're just like 2-outed by the situation. Now, we all know how sick it feels when a guy hits a 2-outer, but you're just as sick and tilted when suddenly a guy raises you or just donk blasts into you for just no reason. But it's also from a huge nit, so you can't figure out a hand he has that makes sense that beats you, but you also can't figure out a way he'd ever be bluffing. So you could see it as you're in like a 2-outer spot or a 4-outer spot. 4-outers hit about 10% of the time with one card? If you're suddenly in a dilemma that would only happen 9 or 10% of the time, then, you got 4 out of by the spot. Anyway, I think you get the point. So let's just go over what happened this week. 4 straight days. That's Wednesday through Saturday. All right, here we go. Buckle up. Some of these hands, of course, aren't going to be that crazy. We got to build up to the crescendo. But one spot I get into, I got a new reg I had never seen before. Some young Asian guy, blind versus blind. He raises small blind to 20. I 3-bet 65 with ace-10 of clubs. He calls, become king, deuce, 9, rainbow, 1 club. He check calls 75. So the pot's around 280 now. Turn is a total brick. There's 7 of hearts, 2 hearts now. And it's a little tougher to figure out what players' ranges could be pre-flop in a blind versus blind situation. Overall, I guess tripling might make more sense because I think that maybe their appealing range will be wider than it should be, but they still might think your 3-bet range is still similar to what it would be in an ordinary configuration instead of blind versus blind. They probably think it's a little wider, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be appealing too wide. Anyway, I bet 225, I think, or 230, and he folded. Then I got ace-10 of diamonds. Someone raises to 25 from middle position. Felt a little big, so I just called. I mean, normally I'd 3-bet. It's okay to 3-bet anyway, but when someone goes a little bigger than usual, I proceed with a little more caution. Comes Jack, Jack, deuce, rainbow, backdoor flush draw. Check, he bets 25. It didn't feel super weak, but I felt like he wasn't going to show up with something too big here. I block some Jack X. I make it 75, with a hand that turns very well. Calls that, queen on the turn. All right, this could help my cause. It could really fuck it up. Well, he probably shouldn't have just a queen very often unless he has queens or queen jack. I bet 170 into 200, I guess, and he folds. Under the gun raises to 15. This guy, he looks like a biker or something. And he had a lot of sizing tells. So 15 or 20, I mean, he goes 15 this time. So I figure 15 is not going to be too good. I 3-bet ace-4 of spades. He calls. It's a dream flop. King, queen, 8, 2 hearts and a diamond. So I got a backdoor nut straight draw. And that's it. He check calls 65. It took him a little time to do it. So figure that's pretty weak. Turns a 5, just a brick. He checks, and I just think I can get away with an overbet here. I haven't been doing that much. I make it 275, and he folds. Now things start to heat up just a tiny bit. I got this whale on my right. He's this man who usually just buys in with 400 and dusts off a few bullets. I've seen him do a variety of silly things. It's usually in the way of some crazy bluffs if he's tilted. He'll just send it in there when he just wants to play a big pot. When he's tilted that way too, guy tilts very easily. Mostly he just plays a shitload of hands in. He's just always fucking up. So he buys in 400. I think he ran it to like 1200 kind of fast, or I don't know what he capped out at, but he was down to a lot less than that, and he was in for a couple of buy-ins. So he's losing when this hand starts. I got kings. He makes it 15. I think I made it 50. I played a couple of hands with him where I double-barreled with hands, and he folded. Flop comes 10-7 deuce. 10-7-3, 2 diamonds. He checks, and I bet 55. I think I'm 3-bet to 65 because I feel like the pot was much bigger when I made this bet. So he thinks for a while and calls. Turn is at 7. Not quite a great card, but I mean, I think if he has a 7, he's just calling fast with a lot of shit. So I guess it's a little strange what he thought about so long with. I mean, in any event, he calls. Turn was a 7. Oh yeah, I said that already. He checks, and at the time I was a lot more afraid of the 7 than I think I should have been, but checked back anyway just to, change it up, I guess. And the river's a 4, so a gut shot got there, 6-5, and he jams. Fuck me. He jams 555. And I don't think he's going to have just a 10 when he does this, so it's either a bluff or I lose. And I don't know. This is weird. I mean, kind of a draw-heavy flop. Relatively draw-heavy, especially for this guy in there. Check calls it only. Takes a while. I mean, I just felt like it's one of these spots where if calling is a mistake, it might not be a very big one, but folding is potentially a huge one. But this is an overbet. I only have a bluff catcher. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like I got to make him show it to me. And he showed it to me. He had 10-7 offsuit, so he flopped top two. That's what he was thinking so long about. Should he check raise or not? And then he turns a boat, and then he just gets paid on the river. I thought under the circumstances, I mean, he could just be bluffing, but the fucking thing is, it's like if he thinks he's just trying to bluff you off ace high or something, we know he doesn't have to go that big. So sometimes that makes me think a player isn't bluffing, but this is what happens when you play against these kinds of players. As people say now, they deserve the action. I don't know if he deserved it in that exact spot. I mean, it's probably too much to say he didn't deserve it at all. But, it's hard not to be results-oriented, and I get pretty hard on myself in spots like this. So I don't know about this one. I mean, I'm not that mad about it, but it's like not used to calling over bets on the river and losing. So on we go, and we get another under-the-gun raise to 15. Our fish in the cutoff calls. I got the nuts on the button. Aces, in case you forgot. Rake it to 65, and we are now 4-bet. Well, we meaning I am now 4-bet to 175, and we're both deep. And because we're both deep, maybe I should just put in a 5th bet. I don't have to make it that big because people just aren't going to fold kings. Probably not going to fold anything that they 4-bet to. But I'm still nervous that people could get away from a hand if I 5-bet it. And if he has kings, I mean, I think the money's going in on a lot of boards anyway. So if that's the hand I'm trying to get value from, it's not really worth it to 5-bet because, I mean, I know I said his 4-bet range would probably call a lot of 5-bets too. I mean, yes, and I mean, look, we know 5-betting can't be bad. How could it be a mistake, right? I called. I think it's fine. Comes 9-7-7, and he bets 100 into like 360. All right, call. Turn is a deuce. Deuce of clubs, 2 clubs now. And he bets 225. And I thought about raising here. I was surprised he wasn't going a little bigger if he had kings, so I thought, probably not bluffing, but what the hell are my bluffs here? I mean, I'm not bluffing anything here if I fucking raise this shit. I mean, can't imagine. But in any event, I just call again. I mean, I'm expecting a big bet on the river, and then when I jam, I don't expect him to fold. So, except the river is not something I had in mind. It was just a king of clubs. Backdoor clubs come in as well. I don't have the ace of clubs, so I don't block ace-5 of clubs, ace-queen, ace-jack, ace-10 of clubs. Not that I think this guy is going to be 4-betting those hands at any kind of meaningful frequency. It could be 0. Probably will be 0, actually. So that leaves ace-king, which he could 4-bet. And if he does have 4-bet, would he go... If he does 4-bet that, is he going to go barrel and now just have top pair here? Or does he just only have kings? Does he just only have kings in this scenario where he now bets 550? I think he bet half, maybe a little more than half. And boy, I mean, did it feel powerful and big and strong, like I'm going to get hit by a fucking train. How many times have you felt like that on the river? Where you just feel like you can't fold, but you also feel like there's just no way this money's coming back. But what am I going to do here? I mean, if I just got another fucking brick on the river, like a 3... Even if the board friggin' double pairs, I mean, if the board comes at 4 or 5, just, you know what I'm fucking saying? I mean, he's probably going to bet the same size, maybe even bigger. And I'm going to rip. It's only going to be like another 700 or 800 more, and he's just going to fucking probably call because he's just going to think, what the fuck? So he bets 550. I mean, I didn't think too long before calling. He had kings. Of course he fucking had kings. This is 2-5 no limit hand at the win. We've got 4-bet, 4 out of position 4-bet. Bet a low flop, bet a low turn, triple on a king high river. You think this is a bluff? I mean, I'm trying to, chop with aces? I mean, could he have 4-bet and ace king and give it a couple barrels and give up river until he hits this card? I mean, maybe. I'm not thrilled about this call either, not that I blame myself for making it, because you know something, if I had folded, I would have hated myself for folding, and I'd probably feel even worse than I do now. So sometimes there's just no victory. Sometimes you make great folds and you feel like a fucking asshole and you just never get to find out how great you played. But alright, I lose. I lose with aces against kings again. Time to start bitching. And this is just a specific part of the variance. But it's a crazy part of the variance. Whenever I run kings into aces, they almost always have a full clip and I never hit a fucking king, whether I fold at some point or not. And I can think of 3 times off the top of my fucking head I got aces against kings and they hit a fucking king in a 4-bet pot. Limp raise. I 4-bet. He 4-bets. King. Now, there have been some times where I held and won a big hand, but I mean, just 3 off the top of my head. And there might be more, but we're not going to go deep sea diving into that. But God, and the guy is sitting there smiling. I've owned him. Look, I'm not saying he did anything wrong. It's just he's set up, and I'm supposed to be on the right side of the setup, of this fucking setup, and I'm the one getting fucking bent over again. So I ain't exactly like tilted, but you know, I'm ready to fucking push some buttons here. I'm ready to fucking put the money in. So we got another raise to 15 and a call from the whale. I got 3s. We got an open raise by the nit and a flat by the fish. You got 3s. We're all deep now. We're 3-betting this shit. What the fuck? Make it 75. Cold 4-bet from the button. Who else? Duh. A super nit folds back to me. Maybe not a super nit, but a nitty player. And I think set moneying in 4-bet pots makes a lot more sense in 3-bet pots because the SPR is going to be way lower. You're much more likely to be up against a huge pair. So you're just much more likely to get, you know, all the money you need to win from it. Whereas a 3-bet pot, you might not win that much because it's not just 1 and a 7.5 to hit a set. That's just hitting the set. You're not automatically doubling up every time you hit the 1 and a 7.5. You need a perfect fucking situation. And it's hard. It's getting harder and harder these days in 3-bet pots. It's just people just are not losing that much. So 4-bet pot, though, that's a little different. And, you know, I got to call 110. We're pretty deep behind. If I do get lucky and hit a 3, I mean, it's going in on most boards. 9-7-3. 2 diamonds. Oh, hooray. Finally starting to run fucking good in a 4-bet pot. Or whatever. Maybe not finally. I don't remember some of the hands I've won lately. But all right. Did that feel good or what? Check. Bets 200. Small check raise to 450. I mean, I don't know why I don't just rip. It doesn't matter. He rips. He has kings and I hold. Now the plot thickens. Because I thought this would be about a 3K pot. 3,100. I was in seat 8 and he was in seat 1. So, you know, we're in the worst seats to see each other's stack. And I'll admit, I should have been paying attention and wasn't paying attention to watching the dealer count it up because this is a very competent dealer who I trust, I like, and always does a good job. He cares. I didn't think anything would go wrong. I'm counting up my stack. I lost a hand or two later, but I'm counting up my stack, and I only got like 26 or 2,700, and I thought I should have like 3,000 at least. And then I asked the dealer, I said, did I have him covered? He said, nah, he had like 150 left. And then I said, like, I think I'm short. Then he gives me a little attitude. He's like, well, I counted in front of you. And I didn't say anything. I'm just thinking, because this is one of the worst feelings in the world when you're playing poker, when you start wondering where the hell's my money because you're feeling like, did I fuck something up? I mean, you're trying to replay everything. You're thinking about what your stack had. Like, you're thinking, and you're just like, no, this is not right. Something does not make sense about this. And I wasn't paying attention, so it's very conceivable there was a fuck up. I, of course, fucked up by not paying attention, but now there's other fuck ups going on here. And you're just like, you know, it's like you're in a small state of shock for a second. You're like, wait, am I crazy? Then the dealer says, all right, he's like, you want me to report it? So he did that. I mean, he was getting pushed right after that. And I didn't see where he was. I mean, I didn't see him talking to anybody. So then I just got up. I've got it to a floor person, and I reported what I thought happened, probably about 10 minutes after the fact. And the floor said the dealer had come up to him, but it didn't really sound like anything was put in action yet. So I don't know. I'm not sure if they were going to do anything or not. But I went up to him, told him what I think is going on. He agreed to go look at the cameras. He sounded mildly annoyed about it, like he didn't think he was going to find anything. And maybe most of the time they don't. That's probably why. But they get back on it, and he comes back, and he tells the player in seat 1, and he took this very well. He even pumped fists with me. He said, you got to give him $150. So that other $150 the dealer referred to should have got in there. So I thought I was going to get like 400 back, but all right. Hey, look, 150, $150. That's a decent dinner date. So I'm glad I had them look into this, and I'm glad to know that I wasn't crazy. And I'm also glad that, at least if I wasn't paying attention before, at least I figured it out later. But then I started thinking, you know something, I'm over it with these fucking dealers now. There's a few dealers left, and they know who they are. They will be tipped the way I've been tipping dealers in certain situations, like winning a big pot, for instance. Everybody else, $1 to $2 max for the rest of the year at least. I have had it with this. And I like this dealer, and he even came over to me and he apologized later. I mean, he did everything right except for fucking up. And number 2, this fucking little attitude he gave me. I counted it in front of you. Like, What do you think? You're immune to making a fucking mistake? Why do I have to fucking be spoken to like this? And then when you find out I'm right, you did fuck up, it's like, what the fuck? These fucking dealers, they're everywhere. You can spit and hit one. How dare you ever question them? And don't tell me I don't know what it's like to be a dealer. I've been questioned before I remember at a tournament, a guy thought he's supposed to have this much. He thought he had this much. I counted it out. He miscounted. He had the right amount. He became very apologetic. And I didn't fucking say anything. I know it's a stressful thing. I didn't take it fucking personally that he thought I fucked up and was giving me an attitude. And I just counted it for him. And like, okay, we good? All right. To my knowledge, I never made this mistake in a pot. And if I did, no one noticed it. But I don't think I've ever miscounted the money. These fucking dealers rushing through these situations. There's a lot of money being exchanged now. Just slow down. Years ago, probably 2014 or 15, I tripled up in a hand at the Bellagio, a friggin' 15K pot, which we know is going to be a little more complicated because you're counting 3 stacks instead of 2. But the dealer's counting my stack first, and I noticed his hands were shaking. And this was just some fucking white guy. I mean, he was a nice guy. I saw his hands were shaking. I said, hey, just slow down. It's all right. Just take your time. We'll get it right. And he just sort of like nodded his head, laughed a little like, okay. Like, look. I can see why that, could get someone a little anxious. It's just a lot of money. But you know something? It's just counting. It's just counting. So, fuck dealers. I mean, you fucking guys are fucking up a lot more than you think you are. You guys are everywhere. You're not nearly as good as the dealer as you think you are. I mean, a small percentage of them are. A very, very small percentage of them. And I know them. Some are around Vegas. Others are around the country, in Florida, and other places. Anyway, one more wild freaking roller coaster situation. I raise with 4s in middle position. It's folding, like dominoes. You figure you're just going to take it, and then no, the both blinds call. And then the flop comes. 3, 4, 5, 2 diamonds. Oh, wow. The small blind leads 45. Now, the small blind is this nitty woman who makes a lot of mistakes, and I know in this situation is going to have, like, pocket 6s through pocket 10s, maybe even jacks. Like, an overpair hand that has a lot of bad scare cards, so instead of just checking and playing precautiously because the hand is not very good, there's a lot of bad cards on the turn, so you don't need to think of your 10s or jacks or 9s here as a big hand. It's not. What do you want to do, get raised? What if that happens? Just check. She'd be checking all her big hands, so when she donks this size, I know it's something like good but marginal. And then the big blind raises to 200. And the big blind is deep. And the big blind is one of the most competent players in this pool. He plays kind of like me. He's like careful pre-flop, but like, he can put the pedal down. And I don't know how well he knows this player. So I don't know if he realizes exactly what kind of hand she's showing up here, or if he thinks he just has a big hand or a big draw and he's got a monster and he's just raising to the pot. But he's also got me behind him, and I'm raising from the low jack. So I got all the sets from any spot, but I got all the sets, all the wheels, and probably all the nuts, 7-6. So for him to raise, that's showing a lot of strength. It's also, giving him a chance to see how strong my hand is, because if he raises in front of me, it makes it very hard for me to 3-bet now unless I have a monster. So I've made that play in spots before where I have a good hand, but not the nutted hand, but it's putting someone in a spot to force them to reveal if they have the nuts or not, because they're not going to fucking 4-bet the flop with nothing, and neither am I. So, oh God, what a brutal situation. What turn card do I want to see besides a 4? We know I can't raise. I can maybe call this, but I don't even want to call. If I have 3s, I think I have to fold. If I have 5s, I think I have to call. I'm right in the fucking middle. I beat 5-4 suited, 4-3 suited, 3s. I lose to all the wheels, the nuts, set of 5s. Plus he could have big draws that have a lot of equity. There is a lot of bad shit happening here. This is going to end well, not very often. And when it does end well, I'm probably not going to win that big of a pot anyway. What do I want? An ace on the turn? That'd be pretty good, an offsuit ace. Just hope he doesn't have a deuce. But an offsuit ace at least blocks some of the wheels. What if it comes a queen and he bombs it? I can't imagine he would do that with a set of 3s. He's smarter than that. He knows when I flat there, I have a ton of shit that's like fucking nutted. You're going to have to slow down with 3s there. He'll figure that out. Probably figure it out fast. Now, if a brick comes and he checks, all right, we know I'm just checking back. And what if a brick comes and then he tanks the river? I mean, what do you do then? Then the river can be a diamond or a four-liner. I mean, God, I mean, there's just so many bad things that can happen. I folded. I don't think it's that fucking crazy. I mean, and then she folded too. Now, I mean, I don't know if he's messing around there with that size. I mean, if he wants to bluff, I mean, maybe he might go a little smaller and just try to blast her later and just, I mean, God, I mean, what a fucking terrible spot. That is one of the worst spots I've ever been in for a pot that I only lost the pre-flop open and that's all I lost. That is one of the most sickening results I've ever seen for myself. I mean, wow. You raise, flop middle set, donk bet from the small blind, raise from the big blind, you just fold. Middle set. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I don't love it, but I just, you call there. I mean, I don't know how this is going to end up great for you. I mean, unless he just loses his mind with threes, I don't think he's going to do that. So this brings us into day two, where, having kind of a boring day, I think. But then the guy on my right is not protecting his cards. I mean, it's not a blatant show every time, but it's happening. And then he gets ace-king offsuit in the middle position, and I got jack-10 off. He makes it 15, I think. And, man, I mean, I got players behind me. Someone can always cold call, and he could 4-bet. If he 4-bets, then, I mean, we were deep enough. Maybe I should have just played the hand anyway and just take the worst of it out of position and just play perfectly post. I mean, but I folded. I mean, I just worried he's going to 4-bet to a size that's too hard for me to call. It's just, the EV here is not great, even if you know what he has, because you're going to have to cooler him to win a huge pot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I can, like, min raise, and then he can 4-bet big, and then I can 5-bet shove. Like, if he makes it, like, 200, or, like, let's say he makes it 50 and I make it 30, and he makes it, like, 150, right? Or 120 even. Let's say he doesn't go massive. I 5-bet shove like another 1,200. I don't think he's calling off there with ace-king. So you could have set it up that way. I mean, it's hard to prepare for these situations. So he was having a tough day, getting frustrated. I mean, that's another reason why I didn't want to 3-bet him light when he has fucking ace-king. But then I couldn't believe this. I mean, I could not believe this. It folds to his cutoff. He has ace-10 off. He folded. I could not believe he folded that. And all I can think of is, I've been running bad. I'm just going to fold until I hit something. I'm missing everything. That's the only thing I can think of. Or maybe he just doesn't like that hand for some reason. But either way, what a fucking ridiculous mistake to make. Ace-10 off in the cutoff. This is a pure open. And he just folds it. And I got 7-deuce suited on the button. And now no one can say that I saw his hand if I win a big pot from him because I'm suited. I'm like, I had the 7-deuce suited. I was bored. I decided to 3-bet. I have the button. I have every excuse in the world to think that, no one could accuse me of seeing his hand if something crazy happens. Instead, I raise the button. No one calls. Could not believe I did not get to 3-bet him there with the 7-deuce suited. So then our whale from the day before shows up. The guy I doubled with kings. He limps. I limp with 7-4 of diamonds, and I think we go 5 ways. I almost never, ever, ever limp. And one of the spots I do limp is this spot like this one, just like a so-so hand on the button, and I'm just like, okay, there's a fish in there, let's just fucking play. And I don't know why I don't write down the runouts sometimes. I know I flopped a gut shot, and I think it was like maybe queen 6-3. I have diamonds, and it just checks, and I think the whale bet like 10, and I think I just raised him with the gut shot, no spade. He called. The turn was like some number. I mean, he check called, and then the river was some other. Fuck me. This is stupid. I should have written this down. All I know is the flush didn't get there, and the board didn't pair, and nothing got really that crazy. All I knew is he's weak, and he's taking a long time to call the flop and turn. And this whale is someone you can bluff, actually. I mean, because he gets to a lot of spots with weak hands, and maybe he's just trying not to pay off as much. I mean, he probably went through a phase where he was paying off left and right, and then as most people figure out, you are not going to make money by calling the river frequently at 2-5. They are going to have it over and over and over. So it seems like he's getting a little better. And every time he sees me get to a showdown, I have something good. So I overbet the river and he snap folded. I think I bet like 425 into like, I don't know, maybe like 250 or 270. I mean, he just immediately says like, okay, you got it. So I don't think he threw away anything that good. But either way, Yeah, I mean, you're used to feeling nervous about bluffing whales and thinking you're just going to pay you off and that's all you want to do against them. But when they start folding a lot, if they start getting a little better, you got to adjust your shit against them. So then this hand comes. I definitely missed some value. I raised to 25 with kings, diamond, spade over a limp. You go 3 waves at the small blind. Small blind has played with me a bunch. He's always very kind of skeptical of me, even if he doesn't do anything about it. He always looks at me like, are you doing something right now? So flop comes queen, jack, 5, 2 spades. Like I said, I have a spade. They check. I bet 45. Small blind calls. Now the big blind check raises to 125, and this is the first mistake. I mean, this was a so-so player who was running good. Just an older Asian man. I think he sat with 500 or 600. Now he's probably got double that. I mean, this check raise to 125. He's like raising like a third. I mean, this is not going to be a huge hand. I mean, if he has 2 pair plus, I think he would check raise, but not to this small of a size. I just cannot fucking believe I missed this. I think this is a 3-bet. Could have a draw. Could have a queen. Probably not folding the queen. I mean, make it like, I don't know, 350. Get rid of the other guy. I mean, just it's sensible. And I just call, and we both call. And then it turns in 9. So king 10 gets there, the nuts, which I have blocked badly. They both check. And I checked? Oh, God, this is awful. You cannot be checking here. I mean, 10-9 is calling a lot. A lot of queen X probably calls pair and gutter, pair and open-ended. Flush draws are calling, nut flush draw. I mean, the big blind could easily have that, even though I got king of spades. So what? I have a fucking spade blocker. I didn't even realize how bad this was. I knew it was bad, but I'm thinking more about it. This is fucking terrible. This should get you benched. This is taking a fastball right down the middle. This is unacceptable. Not 3-betting the flop and checking this turn? Who the fuck am I? Unfucking believable. I mean, I swear I play better when I'm bluffing than when I'm value betting. I feel like I'm more comfortable when I'm bluffing than when I'm value betting. How many people do you think feel that way? You know why it is? Because when you're value betting, you're afraid of a million things. You're afraid of getting raised. You're afraid of going too big, too small, too this, too that. You're afraid of a million things. When you're bluffing, it's just like, all right, here we go. Let's see what he does. Now, look, you got to carefully pick the spot. You can't just go fucking willy-nilly and just push the pot button whenever you feel like it. You got to size it up. But it's just pushing the button and letting him decide. This should get you fined, traded, benched. I mean, this is just pathetic. And then the river comes in 8. So flush draw misses. They check to me again. And once again, I should bet. I know I can't bet big, but I should bet like a 10th. Call a check raise. I don't think anyone's checking a 10 here. I mean, people show some traps sometimes on the river out of position. A little more I've seen it in the last year, but heads up. Heads up. I check down, I win. Small blind has king, queen suited. Big blind says, oh, no spade. So you figure he probably had enough flush draw. I mean, they both would have called 300 on the turn easy. Maybe even 400. I just got nervous. He flopped a big hand and didn't know how to size, and then I just didn't want to be betting into 2 pair on the turn, even though my hand has a lot of outs against that hand. I mean, this is just one of the worst hands I've ever played, actually, the more I fucking think about it. I mean, this is just absolutely detestable poker. And this is why I don't crush as much as I should. I mean, it's... Anyway, moving on. I get 10-9 of diamonds in the middle position, raise to 20. Big blind calls, and the big blind is this another reg I've never seen before. Games have been good at the win. I mean, you got the tournament series, and you got a lot of just so-so players coming in. This is another guy who was winning and just didn't seem like he was going to do anything for a lot of money when he's light, whether it's calling or bluffing. I've been pretty quiet since he got there. Anyway, we go heads up, and it comes jack 4-4, 2 diamonds. He checks, I bet 20, he makes it 75. Okay, call with this medium flush draw. Turn is a deuce. He checks. Now I'm thinking maybe he has a flush draw. So I bet 130, and he calls. And the river is another 4, and he checks. And I thought about betting small, because if he has a flush draw, you're going to have to fold. You know, even ace deuce, he's not calling with ace deuce of diamonds. But this guy, I've been targeting and hunting this guy. And he will not have a 4, and he will not have pocket jacks. Neither of those hands are check raising the flop and then checking the turn, and then checking the river after being checked. I mean, it's just not going to happen. He's probably going to 3-bet pre with jacks, or maybe not check raise jacks on the flop. I am not worried about him having jacks full or quads. All right, I think it's out of the question. So I'm capping him at a jack. And I've been looking for these spots lately. Been sitting at the table and looking for these guys who I don't think I want to call an insane amount of money. And I thought about jamming because going 1.5x and 2x, sometimes it just doesn't seem to get the job done. I mean, maybe it will in this hand because the pot's got about 450. But I have been looking for a spot to just completely, utterly shock somebody. And we got over 2K left. Then I started thinking, I probably don't even have to jam. I mean, it's like, I know I'm not running into the nuts, but I don't have to jam. So I settled on 2.7x pot. Not even 3x. It felt like I went 3x, but I didn't. I go 1,200. He basically snap folds, and he shows his neighbor, and he shows the table. He basically snap folds ace, jack, with the ace of hearts. I'm like 90% sure he had the ace of hearts. And the reason why that's important is because he blocks ace 4 of hearts. So he blocks jacks. He has a jack. He blocks aces. He blocks ace 4 of hearts. It's subtle. It's only one more combo. But it's important to mention because this guy, he's going to fold that hand, and to fold it that fast, I committed first-degree murder against his range. He has 0 calls if he's not even going to call with that hand. And we know I can have queens, kings, or aces, or maybe he thinks I have a 4, or maybe pocket jacks. It's credible for me to have that hand, and I just thought this guy was going to give me credit, and not only was I right, he gave me credit immediately, and he did so with, quite literally, the strongest hand he could have possibly shown up with, given the line he took. I mean, this was something of like a highlight reel bluff, you know what I mean? And this tells you a lot about the 2-5 pool. I mean, look, it took me a little bit of time to, work up the courage to do this, because how many spots do you see? You could tell the big bluff's probably going to work, but you're afraid to fire it. You're just afraid to fire it. I mean, it's hard making these fucking huge overbet bluffs into small pots. Now, the most clever bluff you can probably make is probably the really small bet into a big pot, and the guy is just going to read it as value and fold. I mean, that might be the most clever and maybe the most dangerous type of bluff because of how likely it is to fail, but these might be the scariest types of bluffs, and I'm sure why people have trouble with them is just betting massive into a pot that's like you're not taking back that much even if it works. So that's what deters people from doing it. But this was just the perfect spot. I got the situation, and it's just the small bet would have been, of course, called. The big bet is designed to just sweep up everything. I mean, he died on this river. His range died on this river. I killed it. When I bet $1,200, I just win. That's what this means. And it's the type of moment I've been waiting to have for a while. I mean, not that I'm not running moves, but like, it's just this particular spot I've been looking for. And it does, it's not that easy to fire them. You got to be careful with these. You got to be selective. It's got to be perfect. It was perfect. And I do this on the same day. And look what I did with pocket kings. We just make sure to win nothing with it. But when I got this spot, he's got ace jack. He's got me dead all the way, and figure out a way to get him off it. I mean, I gotta get better. I mean, I gotta get better. I see now that I'm just not good at poker. It's not that I'm good at poker. Everybody else is just terrible. They're just that terrible. And I'm not even saying his fold is bad. I mean, his fold is going to be fine against the field. He just doesn't know it's bad against me. So this brings us to day 3 of the operation of this week. I just smoked a joint in the garage, or part of it, and I hadn't done this before a session in a while. I joined the game, and I think my second hand, I have jacks. I raised to 25 over a limp against the small blind. He has to do it. He's like, 25, 150. Whoa, okay. Folds back to me. I mean, I am brand motherfucking new here. I mean, I got a huge hands. I mean, but I also know myself, and I know I'm likely to fold this hand at some point, so I fold here. I mean, it's pretty bitch, but that's what I did. And then he shows me the 7-3 options. I just immediately said, ah ha 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 ha, ah ha ha. He's like, ah ha 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 ha. Then he tells us how he had just lost a huge pot with aces against ace king, where the guy jammed into him pre-flop. And you come across these hands more often during tournament series. I mean, this is just another random looking player doing something completely out of his mind. What in the world possessed him to do that? I mean, God, he got me off fucking jacks. I mean, it's just one of those freak bluffs you run into once in a while. I wasn't too upset about it. But this guy was continuing to be insane. I mean, this was the most insane day of the week, which is saying a lot considering some of the things we already talked about. But he was like opening to 75, and no one was calling. He also wasn't calling them any raises, but he was continuing to make these insane 3-bets. But then comes a hand where he makes it 75. I got 8-3 offsuit this time. And folds to me. I show fold. I said, I probably had you dominated. I was cracking some jokes since, weed loosens me up a little bit. So on we go. I raise to 20 with king, queen off. He calls the big blind. Comes 7-8-3, 2 hearts. I have the queen of hearts. He donks 50. And, okay, we know this is a good spot to float. But I just don't know what this guy's going to friggin' do, and it's a pretty nitty tight fold, but I fold and he shows an ace. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. What has he got, ace-8? The guy was just trying to play big pots. I mean, I don't expect this donk to be very strong, but I'm just also afraid he's going to call down, think I'm playing back. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the fold, but I see why he did it. Now I got ace-10 of clubs. I guess it was probably 2 limps. I want to say I made it 30. We go 4 ways. I'm in position. It comes 7-deuce-4, 2 clubs. And he donks out of the big blind, 75, folds back. I raise to 300, not really expecting him to fold, but he calls. And the turn, I believe, was a 6. I sure hope it was a 6. I'll explain why in a second. He checks, and I think he's just going to have too much shit here he's calling with, and then I won't be able to bluff the river because he'll probably just want to call because the pot will be so big. And I'm afraid to jam the turn because I'm afraid he has too many pair plus hands. So I just check back. I think it's fine. And I brick. The river is a 3. And I think he bet into me. I forgot what he bet. He probably bet like 300-400. And I fold. And he doesn't show. I think I just had big draw and missed. And these are one of these hands that just feels like, life isn't fair. Poker's not fair. It's fair, but it's like, fuck this guy. I mean, this is a fucking big chance. Now, the reason I am praying the turn card was a 6, because when I looked at my notes, I thought the board looked like I wrote it out. 7-deuce-4, deuce clubs. I mean 2 clubs, not deuce clubs, although deuce clubs means the same thing. And then I have a 5 and a 3 rolling off, which means I had a wheel, which means I folded a wheel, which means I wouldn't have done that if I realized I had a wheel. But I don't think I wrote down the right thing. I think if I knew I turned a wheel draw, I would have realized it. So I think when the turn came, I was like, ugh, airball, my outs are the same, and then I didn't get there. Then I 3-bet somebody with queen-jack offsuit. I get cold 4-bets. Then I make it 30 over 2 limps with king-jack off. He makes another insanely huge 3-bet. I fold. He's not showing. I don't think he showed a hand since the 7-3 offsuit. Then I raise with ace-8 of spades to, I think, 30. Was there a straddle this hand? I mean, because I just know the pot had 100 in it, and then we went 3 ways. That I remember. It comes 7-6-10, all spades. I got the nuts. And I get donked into for $40. And the guy who donked into me was like this probably mid-30s guy. He said he played at Lucky Chances a lot in Northern California. And he just seemed like one of these typical California players who can probably beat that player pool, but he's going to be doing so many stupid things in this pool that you don't see even the so-so players doing. Thought about calling because I know his hand's got to be pretty weak, but the button looked like he was already getting ready to fold, so I didn't want to call and give him a chance to do something. So I raised to 100, and he calls the 100, and the turn is a 9, so there's 4-2 a straight. No, I had ace-9 of spades because I didn't have a straight blocker. So yeah, I've got ace-9 of spades. It came 6-7-10, 2 spades, all spades. And he checks, and I thought, he could have hit some straights here with 10-8, 7-8, 6-8s. I mean, who knows what dumb shit he has. I mean, he might just be, I don't know if he would just have a pair and a spade, but if he has just like a dry 10x, he probably can't call very much. And I just thought it'd be a good spot to rep the nut flush draw and try and get value from straights. So I bet 250 into like 270. He folds, and then he guesses that I had pocket queens with a spade. That was his guess. I mean, I couldn't help it. I'm not even trying to be an asshole. I just started laughing when he said that. I was like, "You think I had queens with a spade?" Okay, and then like an orbit or two later, he changed his guess to aces with a spade. I was like, "You're still thinking about that one, huh? You're still working on it?" As if I'm ever fucking. Oh. Like I say, Northern California. So I raised the 20 with Queen Jack off, and the small blind tanks it again. Every time this guy with 7-3 offsuit, every time he 3-bet me, he was always in the small blind. Made no sense. Every time I'm opening, he just 3-bets me, and I just have nothing every time. Except for the time I opened with pocket queens. Then he folded. Then I got ace queen of spades. No, I think it was ace queen of hearts. And I raised the 20. There was a call, and he 3-bet the button to 60, which made me a little nervous that he has a big hand this time because he went small. But I thought probably not. He's just a fish. So I 4-bet to 240. Can probably go a lot bigger. He calls, and I get the most fucking flop that you can imagine. It's not that I can't win with this flop, but it's like, what the fuck? King, queen, jack, 2 diamonds, no hearts. I mean, this fucking flop. It's like I think I can bet and get called by still a lot of worse shit. So I bet 155. But this is going to be so fucking hard to navigate. And maybe the best thing to do is to just check and, try and strengthen his betting range so that he doesn't bluff too often. It doesn't bluff me too often because he's going to worry I'm trapping him with something and maybe I could get thin value later. I just don't want to. I mean, this is just such a shitty flop. Such a shitty flop to try and figure out what to do with. He calls. Oh, the turn made everything so much better. It was a 9. So now any 10 makes it straight. I mean, now I have to fucking check. He checks. River's a 7 of diamonds. Flush makes it. I mean, I don't know what else to do here. So I think I just got to check again. And if he bets, I'll think about calling. But he checks. He's got king 3 options. His flop's top pair, and the calls his big 4-bet in position. Just 3 bets, king 3 offsuit against an under the gun open. And that's when I said to him, tough game. I didn't want to troll on him too much, but it's like, God, what the fuck is this? I mean, then I get ace queen off, and I raised to 30, and he 3-bets the small blind again, but this time he went very small. He went 75, so he was starting to lose money, so he wasn't super deep anymore, but I 4-bet to 230, could probably get away with going bigger. He calls it, and I flop top 2, ace queen 4, 2 diamonds. Got a queen of diamonds for backup. He checks, and I think we could get the money in here without betting the flop. So I check, and this could induce. I mean, if he has the value hand, he's going to bet it anyway. I have a hand I don't have to worry about folding to pretty much any run out, and the turn is a flush card. It's a 7 of diamonds, so I have a second nut flush draw. He checks again, so now I bet small, bet 105. He's like, you're giving me a price. Now I can try and get there, or said something like that. River's a deuce. He leads 400. And 5-3 is a wheel, so I could lose to that, but, this is a jam. I mean, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no questions about it. This is an easy shove. An easy shove. My jam's going to be under half pot. It's probably like another 800 more. So I do so, and he puts on a little show and folds. I think he just had nothing. Then Lucky Chances expert putting some serious lab work in, figuring out what my hand was on the 6, 7, 10 all spades 9 turn card. He got into a pot with somebody else where he checked back on the river and lost to a hand that he seemed upset with himself for not trying to bluff. So put that in the mix now, and he opens hijack. I'm probably going to 3-bet anyway with ace-10 offsuit. I make it 65. He calls. I don't flop particularly well. It comes queen 9-6 with 2 diamonds. I mean, I guess I could do worse, but this isn't that great. He check calls 80. The turn is an ace, and I expect him to fold to this turn card a lot, so I check back. The river is a 10 of diamonds, so flush gets there. I have 2 pair now, but, 7-8 makes it. Flushes are there. He bets 230. Who gives a shit? You have to call the guy. And he has 9-8 offsuits, so figured he had something stupid, and he did. And then another orbit later, he raises middle position. I fold ace-4 offsuit. He's like, what? He's like, you don't want to play against me in position? He's like, I'm just going to bet into you. He's like, what do you call there? Like 10-9 plus? You have implied odds with that? And that's the beauty of him saying that call, because it's like, buddy, 10-9 plus, you ain't getting called from middle position. You're getting 3 bets. In fact, anything I'm playing, I don't have a call range against your opens in most cases. I'm just 3-betting anything I want to play against you. And this is the 2-5 pool. It doesn't even cross their mind. I mean, everybody who has these marginal hands are just flattening all over the place, letting themselves go out of position, risking getting squeezed, letting themselves go multi-way. I mean, it's just so bad. Then I see two guys get into a small pot, very small pot, but one guy had a bigger ace. The guy who was beat, the board ran out two pairs, so he chopped. He thanked the dealer multiple times for dealing a run out for a split pot in a small pot. Okay, so now we have another straddle. Then we have a blind raise to 20 with a guy I played with the previous week where I saw him 4-bet huge with 10-3 offsuit in position. Keep that in your notepad. Folds to me. I got ace-8 of spades in the small blinds. Okay, make it 100. Big blind calls. It looks like some old man coffee. And the blind, the blind raise calls. So I guess we got 310, 320 in there, something like that. So flop the nut flush draw, jack 7-6, two spades. And yeah, of course I can bet, but I think checking may tell me a little bit more about the ranges. So I check, and the old man coffee bets, but only bets 100. So I didn't think it was a big hand. And the whale calls, and his range can be very wide. And we know I have a ton of equity here. I'm very deep with the whale. I'm not as deep with the old man coffee because he only has about 800 or 900 left. But I jam, and they both folded. I mean, they both gave it some thought. I don't think either one of them was giving it serious thought, but they folded. And this is why check and flop is good. You find out a lot about their range. If I bet and get called, in this case, it's a little easier to narrow because they're not going to be flatting any big hands here ever. But when you check and you see their bet size, if they bet, you're going to know a lot about what to do. I mean, if the guy bets 250, I'm probably not jamming. I don't think I'm getting enough folds at that point. So, but 100, no problem. I think that's an easy jam. And it's been a while since I made a move like this, but I think it's an easy jam. So now our lucky chances reg is in there again, and he raises to 30 on the small blind. It was just like every hand I play, I have some uncomfortable decision to make, and it was just one after another with the whale who was just going apeshit. Oh, by the way, I ended up picking up the scraps from him. I think I raised with ace-jack of hearts. There was one call, and he just jammed close to 300 with queen 10 off, and good night. Anyway, I got ace-9 of diamonds in the big blind on a straddle, and the small blind opens, so we know that's not going to be a weak hand. But I got ace-9 of diamonds, and I got no respect for this guy, so I 3-bet to 105. And the flop comes ace-jack 7 with two clubs and a diamond, and he dunks into me. You see how fucking terrible this guy is? It's like I got ace-king, I got aces, jacks, probably sevens even. I got ace-jack. Why are you betting into me? I call the 80. Turn is the 5 of diamonds, nut flush draw. He bets 225 now, and I'm getting a little nervous about having to fold river if I don't hit you-know-what, because his sizes seem to be getting a little bigger now. I flashed him a glance, I flashed him a read, try to get a live read, and he just looked like he was just waiting for me to call. He didn't seem nervous about anything, and this is a guy who bluffed off to me before, and you feel like this is going to be the time he has it. It feels like that's where this is going. So river was another jack, and the pot has around 850 or maybe less. He bets 700. That's a healthy size bet. These bets have been getting bigger and bigger as far as how big it is relates to the pot. Maybe you go small in the flop with a huge hand. Once they calls, realizes maybe I can have something, so now he's just going to go bigger and bigger. But I get here with a lot of better hands. It's not a call I need to be making. I think he's just going to show it to me this time. I flashed him another glance. I thought about this. I just didn't sense any sort of discomfort. I just felt like he was waiting for his money. I fold. He didn't show. He tapped the table to seem like he was saying good fold. Because we were friendly. I wasn't really trolling on him, even though I laughed at him with his pocket queens spade guess and then turned to aces. But I don't know what he got here with. Maybe he just had sevens. I just don't see how he'd be turning over a bluff there once I call flop and turn after 3-betting pre. So probably just had it. Then I go blind versus blind with a fish. He limp calls to 20. I got king 10 off, king of diamonds. 10 of diamonds. Comes queen 8, 9, 2 diamonds. And he check calls 30. Turns is 6. I expect him to have a lot of pair plus hands that'll call now but fold river. He check calls 100. The river is a perfect card to bluff. If it's another queen and it's a diamond, I pot 300 and he has a 6-3 of diamonds. So he flopped a little flush draw, turned a bottom pair, and board paired but hit his flush, which is probably why he didn't lead. And it was another one of those spots where I thought, what if I just bet 8 times the pot here and just jam like 2,400. I mean, he may not have called with that hand, but I was a little afraid to do that versus this kind of guy, because what if he does stack off? So it's one of those hands where you bluff and lose, but you don't really feel bad about anything because he has me in bad shape on the turn, but he still has to get there on the river in order to win. He still has to hit his 6, 3, or diamond in order to win. If he doesn't hit any of those hands, obviously I might improve to a better hand, but if the river's a blank, an ace, another 9, or if the queen isn't a diamond, I mean, he's just folding. And this is how you freaking crush people, is when they have you beat and they still have to get there. They have the best hand and they still have to get there, because it's almost like a joke. I feel like I go in there and it's just the whole game I'm playing is they limp call out of position and they just check and guess the whole hand, or they call a 3-bet out of position and they just check and guess the whole hand. I mean, that's what it feels like I'm doing. Obviously not all the time, but it just feels like, how many times do I find myself in that configuration where they're just checking and guessing and they're out of position and I'm the aggressor? I mean, it's just, these people, they just suck. So that brings us to day 4. First meaningful pot I get into, I raised to 20 with ace jack of spades and the cutoff. The button calls, the small blind 3-bets to 80. He's been losing. Now the small blind is the guy I mentioned before, where we'll call him Ice Trucker because he looked like one. He was the one who wasn't protecting his cards earlier, and he is also who's got a lot of sizing tells. I thought about 4-betting, but I thought this 3-bet could actually be a very, very strong hand. He's trying to make sure I don't fold. Now, I do have the button closing the action, so I could go multi-way and get better odds on the hand, but I also won't be in position the whole hand. I won't be in position at all after the flop. But I call thinking it's probably kings, and I think I'm just going to play very well post-flop. Button folds, and the flop comes jack, deuce, 3, 1 spade. He comes right out, 125. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got it. I mean, I was very sure already, and now I'm even more sure. But I got a call. I got too many turn cards that help me. I get one of them, deuce of spades. And here he comes, 300 fast into 430, I guess. I call. He's got about half pot left, and, I'm expecting to stack him on a lot of the rivers in which I improve on. Probably another jack. I mean, a backdoor spade. I mean, when he's only got 550 and getting tilted and he's got an overpair, I mean, the only card he might fold to is an ace. But this guy has probably felt that he's seen me get a little aggressive too many times now. I don't think he's folding anything. So I think if I get there, I win. And I just brick. It's a 4. He jams. I fold. He doesn't show. I mean, good Lord. Get a fucking better run out where I have to call the flop, have to call the turn, and then you just win on the river. I mean, I thought about folding pre. It's like, dude, he's got kings or aces. You don't need to fuck with him. But it's like, no. It's like, why not play him? I mean, it's like you're in position. He's giving you the price to do it. You're going to make a lot of quality decisions post-flop, so I think I should do it. So I did it, and then that happened. Oh, well, I tried. Right after that, I get pocket 8s, raise to 20, go 4 ways. Comes jack 4, 5. We all check. Turn is an 8. The small blind, I think, leads out for 40. I raise to 125. He calls, turns a 10, or rivers a 10, rather. And so a couple straights make it, but not too worried about either of them. He check calls 275. Thought about it for a little bit. So yeah, I'm starting to get called a little bit more often. Oh yeah, one other hand I forgot to mention from day 3. Then we'll move back on. I had raised under the gun with 6s to 20. And the blinds call. And the blinds, one of the blinds was the guy I just bluffed to when he had 6-3 of diamonds. So the flop comes ace, 8, 6, rainbow. They check. I bet 45, and they both call. Now, the small blind is a dealer. He doesn't deal with the win anymore, but he's a dealer who knows I do stuff. So the turn is an 8. They check again. And I don't have a bluff on this card. I mean, because either one of them can just easily have an 8. That said, maybe I should still bet bigger to get value from an 8. I don't want straight draws to run away, but, I don't want weak aces to get scared. So I bet 130 into 190. Small blind calls, the guy who deals poker. And we get to the river as a 10. 7-9 gets there. So this pot is 450, and he checks snap calls 425. And when you get snap called, you could have bet more. And he said, I don't know how light he called me, but he said after, he had some comment, he thought I felt like I might have a big hand, but I felt like he called me in a spot because it's me, But I don't have any bluffs here. It's a bad call. I tripling this situation with that turn card, going multi-way to that turn card, I don't have a bluff here. I just got it. So I don't know how much more he would have called. I mean, maybe another couple hundred. I mean, I don't know. I mean, every time I lose a big overbet bluff, I always think to myself, wow, it's sick, because if I was value betting there, I would not have used this size. I would have thought that's why I bluffed this size, because I thought I was going to get a fold, and then it didn't. So, I mean, I looked for spots to overbet for value, but I think I just missed this value. I mean, far too often, I feel like. I mean, it's not that I miss it so bad that I run a shitty offense altogether, but it's just... I guess you get nervous about overbetting for value. You don't want to lose the call completely over going just a little bit too big. But anyway, back to day 4. So when I have pocket eights and turn that set and win a nice hand, and then that guy was a little shallow, then there's a raise, a few calls, and I got an okay hand in the big blind, aces. I 3-bet, and then he backships from the button. So I stack him. So I win another all-in pre-flop for a guy who only had about $300. And I told him when we were doing the cards, I was like, I have a really good hand. Then I played an interesting hand against the reg. The pot didn't get very big, but it's one of the more interesting decisions I made for the day. I raise middle position with ace-9 of hearts, and the cutoff calls. And the cutoff's a really good reg. There are a few of them. And the big blind calls, and he's just a nitty reg who I don't respect. And it comes queen 9-4, 2 spades and a club. So I just got a pure middle pair. We all check. Turns a 6. It's a 2-tone board now, and I check again. And now the good reg and the cutoff bet's 25, and I think the 9s here are quite good quite often. So I check raise to 115. I mean, I don't know if he's got a weaker 9 or a draw. I just think this is the best hand a lot. And he calls, and the river is a spade, so a front door flush comes. I mean, I didn't feel great about bluffing this. I felt like I can either check and try. It's tough to bluff catch. I mean, I unblocked the clubs, but he could have spades, which I don't block. I mean, I don't know if he's going to bluff this river. I don't know. It's a tough spot. I check, and he checks, and I think I'm going to win. No, he's got pocket 10s with a spade and a club. So I was not wrong about the fact that his turn bet wasn't this big hand, and I definitely would have made this play with jacks. I guess I was a little surprised he didn't 3-bet that hand. If he has jacks, maybe he does 3-bet. But also, I mean, I was planning on, since I checked this hand again, I always bet these hands on the turn, and I think I'm doing it too much, and I think I can check top pair hands here for a second time, or over pairs. I might check flop with kings, and then maybe check flop again with turn. So he thought my turn raise didn't make any sense to be a value hand better than his, and he happened to have me beat, but I would be showing up in this spot with better hands that time. So I'm not trying to say he made this big blunder. It's just he happened to catch me at probably my weakest value hand for this spot. So then I move tables. We get the straddle going. It's a much more lively bunch. So under the gun limps the straddle. I make it 45, a king, queen of diamonds. And he calls, and he's this old white guy. Looks to be in his 50s, 60s. Got a lot of energy, but he's, who wouldn't when they have 5,000 or 6,000 in front of him in a 2-5 game? So we get a flop of king, jack, 7, and he checks, and I check back. And I've been checking more often in these heads-up spots with value hands. You tend to bet flop heads up a lot more often, but checking good hands, it induces mistakes. So, there's plenty of value to it. Turn is a 5. There's 2 spades, and now he leads 75. I call. Starting to get a little nervous, but we'll see what happens. The river's another 7. He only bet 150 into, I guess, 250. And I figured this probably will never be a 7. And my kicker plays. So I raise to 315 to get called by another king. He thinks for a little bit, but he folded. So probably just bluffing. Probably calling with a king there for that small river raise. So then we get to another hand where I 3-bet the same guy. I make it 55 with ace-queen off. He calls, and it comes 9-7 deuce, 2 diamonds. And I think I had the queen of diamonds, but he's like, check. And I don't know, something just seems strange about that. So I checked. And then the turn is a jack. Normally I'm just going to bet this flop and keep going, but it was just weird the way he checked. Then he leads 85 on the turn, and I folded, so who knows what he had. But I get the feeling that was a good flop check. Only he knows. Then this game started to really die. We were getting like four-handed. We were not seeing any flops, but this dealer was flying through every hand. But he's got to be thinking this sucks. And I asked him, like, you having a good time? And he laughs because, and I say to him, hey, dealers have variance too. And then I won like a pot with like $10 in it, and I gave him $1 because I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole to these dealers. I'm just pissed at these dealers fucking up left and right and giving you an attitude about it like there was no way they could have done it. I mean, look, I was happy that this guy was continuing to fly through every hand and work hard and not be moany and groany. Dealers are such fucking babies. So I tipped him another $1 for his effort. He's like, thank you. I mean, I didn't even, might have been his first $1 of the whole down. Who knows? So then I table change again. A game that looked not amazing, but definitely better. We get an under the gun raise to 15. Next action calls. The under the gun one flatter was definitely fishy looking. Under the gun was a Euro who turned down going to the 5-10 games. So they were both deep, and I hadn't done anything yet, and I just felt like playing. So I made it 70 with ace-6 of spades for middle position. It's a hand I might fold. I hate flatting, but I make it 70. They both call. Flop comes Jack, Jack, Deuce, 2 hearts, so I totally whiff. They check, I check. Turn is a 9 of hearts, so a flush makes it. They check again, and I was going to blast right here. I was going to do it. And I don't know why I didn't do it, but I was going to do it. It just seems like neither one was interested. So I check. River's a 7. They check again. I'm like, all right, well, now I'm doing it. So I bet 375 into 210. I don't rep anything, but people fold their marginal hands to these random sizes in these random spots because they figure it's just so weird that it's probably a real hand. Euro's cutting out his chips. I'm thinking, great, some Euro's going to own me with like pocket 3s here. He calls, and he didn't have pocket 3s. He had pocket 7s. Fuck me. River's this goddamn full house. I mean, this bluff would have worked on the turn, and it would have worked on the river, but I was just a tad too late to the party, and the 2-outer showed up and cost me this freaking pot, plus the big bet I threw out there. You don't feel too bad about losing to that bluff. It's just, damn, I was right. Why the fuck didn't I just bet the turn? So, fuck me. But then, Euro plays another hand with me, and this was just really something. I mean, he raises 15 middle position. 3-bet to 50 with kings on the button, and he calls. Comes 10-9-6 rainbow. I throw in another check. I mean, this is a much easier flop to check back, especially against a guy you're worried could check raise you. I think the turn was a 3 or a 6. He bet 75. I call, and then the river was either a 3 or 6, so it's 10-9-6-6-3 and whatever order. And he bets 175. I call, and he has king-jack offsuit. Wow, 101 poker, losing your mind with king-jack offsuit. I mean, the open is fine, but just because you saw me lose that bluff before does not mean you can start peeling out of position against my 3-bet with king-jack offsuit. Just because you saw me do something a little wild and crazy doesn't mean you get to start spewing. I still have a lot of strong 3-bets when I 3-bet the button or just 3-bet at all. It's like, dude, this is what I say about the Euros. They're not, so many of them are not that good anymore. I mean, look what this fucking guy did. Opens, I think it was low jack and king jack off, and I 3-bet button, and he just calls out of position with king jack off. Flops a gut shot to the nuts, and plus his overcards. I mean, he may have check raise flop. I don't know. I mean, either way, maybe not. But either way, I got 2 streets out of him. We know we're not getting more than that. And God, I mean, he just embarrassed himself, completely, utterly embarrassed himself. But this is when things get very, very funny, because another Euro had just joined the game, another guy I've been seeing a little bit recently, and he's just seems like another pretty competent but very nitty European player, and I hear them talking to each other, and I think he was asking him, like, what the hell are you doing? And then they began talking, and they were going some of it in English and some of it in their other language, which a dealer finally told them to stop. But they did not think I could hear them, and I heard everything that was important. They were talking, he was telling him about me. The Euro who just lost with king jack off was telling his buddy about what had just happened. He said, like, I heard him say 2 pot. So I'm like, all right, he's talking about where I blasted river with ace-6 of spades. It wasn't quite 2x pot, but it was not too far off. He says 2-putt, and I think the guy was then asking, why didn't you raise? Because I think I heard him say, it's always value. So, like, he didn't want to raise with his low boat because he's probably just only getting action from better. So he just called with the bottom full house. And then I hear him tell him multiple times what I had. He's like, ace-6. He's like, what? He's like, ace-6. Letting him know that I had just had a total ace-6 airball. And the look on the Zero's face was just like looking totally dumbfounded and confused of like, wow, that's crazy to realize that someone would do that here. And what a huge advantage this could be, because he doesn't know that I know any of this. He thinks he's learned about me and that I have no idea that he knows this. And so if I get a big hand against him and I overbet the river, he's going to be thinking about what his buddy told him before. Now, it doesn't mean I'm automatically getting paid off, because I can definitely just have a big hand that time, and I don't expect him to call too light, but he is definitely more likely to pay off. What a dream situation to be in. I mean, we know players talk to each other, but you don't know who says what to anybody, so you can't make any assumptions. But when you're in this situation and the guy knows something, you know that he knows, and he doesn't know that you know, the stage is set. It reminds me of something that happened a few years ago. I saw a guy 5x bluff the river into a $40 pot, and I was just walking by. I wasn't even trying to look at his hand. Then I saw him look back at his hand, and he was bluffing. And then a few weeks later, I have like fourth pair, and I check, and the pot has like under $100 in it. He bets 350. I would never call. I called because I know that this fucking guy bluffs, and he was bluffing that time. And he's like, you lose to some bluffs. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because I still didn't want to call. But knowing that he does that, you got to fucking call. And I told him after, I was like, all right, you deserve to know this. I was not trying to see your hand, but you peeled back your cards and I saw. So this has happened before. One time I knew a guy would overbet bluff into small pots on the river, and he didn't know that I knew. And now we're in a situation where someone knows that I bluff. And I get into a hand with him, blind versus blind. He raises to 15. I thought about 3-betting, but I called 10-9 of diamonds. And the flop was king 7-6, 1 diamond, and he bet a 30, bet 10. So I got a gut shot to the nuts, backdoor flush draw. I raise to 35, he calls. I do this as like a limit play, so then I don't have to call a bigger bet on the turn. I get the free river. I know that's a thing in limit, so that's sort of what I was thinking. I was not expecting him to fold, and I was not betting the turn unless I made the nuts. And then the turn is very interesting. It's a jack. Now I'm open-ended. He checks. I check back. Please, 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 brick on the river. He bets I fold. I'm not going to bum hunt a nit just to try and get a perfect spot against him, but it is going to be interesting if I do catch a hand against him and feel much more comfortable overbet for value, because he will be much more likely to think it's a bluff. Last hand of the day is me versus Bulgaria. I've told you about Bulgaria before. He's a decent reg, sort of, who has been sun running. He's one of the luckiest players I've ever seen. For over a year, he makes so many pre-flop mistakes. It's incredible how many mistakes he makes pre-flop. He does a few things well. He makes so many hands. It's unbelievable. And I've been table changing to play against this guy. I mean, if my game's not better than his, I go to his table. Because I just think that he's been sun running for so long, it's actually causing him to play worse. And he's seeing even more flops with more hands that he shouldn't. But in any event, I get kings, and I raise, and he calls, and the Euro called. And I want to say maybe the flop was like queen 9-4 with 2 diamonds. I thought about checking, but I bet 45. Because he's going to call a zillion hands on the button. Bulgaria, that is. He does. We go heads up. Turn is a 6, 2-tone board. And I checked, not because I thought he's necessarily going to bet. I just thought he would expect me to keep betting. So, he'll probably bet his... He would definitely call his draws and call his queens and maybe call a lot of other hands. And maybe he just checks back too much. So maybe checking isn't that great. But I checked, and he bet 85. When he bets 85, I definitely think kings is good here. But we're really deep. And... it's not a bad spot to just overjam or make some massive raise and try and rep some huge combo draw, or, something along that way. But I don't know. We're so deep. It's like, it's going to be ending the hand so often. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because he's going to have a lot of hands that really want to see that river. And if you don't let him see it, then not letting him realize is good. I mean, if you're only getting action from better hands on the river, then you might as well in the hand. But you also want him to call if he's getting a bad price. So I check raise to 325. He calls, and the river wasn't that bad. I mean, it did make one hand the nuts. It was an 8, so Jack 10 is the nuts, but all the flushes missed, so that's the good news. And this guy doesn't bluff a lot of rivers, or he doesn't bluff very big. I mean, I wasn't... He took a while to call the turn, so I don't know really if he's drawing or if he has a queen. And I bet 550. And just to put him in a tough spot with any of his top pairs, because I thought this could easily be perceived as a semi-bluff check raise on the turn that will have missed quite often unless I have Jack 10 of whatever suit specifically. So... I mean, I can bet fold the river. We know I can just bet fold. He's not going to jam as a bluff. He's not going to do it. And he's thinking, he's like, I could beat King Jack of diamonds. I was like, does that mean he's calling, or does he just have like enough flush draw that missed? That's probably what it was. He folded. I mean, I flashed him one glance before I bet river, and he looked totally relaxed, actually. And I didn't know what to think of that. I mean, and I think the reason he's relaxed because he knew he had no decision to make. Figures he's folding if I bet, and maybe he's just not betting if I check. So, I don't know. I mean, if he's bluffing, I know he's not going to go that big, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, playing out of position is tough. And I'm not saying the guy, is just an all-out fish, but like he does so many things that are so bad because he's been running so good that I think it just like you get conditioned to think you're always going to miss when you're missing for a while. The opposite happens. When you're running like God, you think you figure that like, oh, my hand materializes way more often than it actually does. So that's what I think is going on with him. But either way, that's how that hand ended. And the last hand I'll talk about for the day is one of the funniest hands I've ever seen. Once again, I missed value. What else is new? Raise button to 20 with King 4 off, and the small blind calls. And the small blind is this very weird nit who just limps a ton, flats raises with big pairs, but is nitty. But just does bizarre shit, shows up with stupid hands, and it's just tilting to look at. It's just like this middle-aged white guy with fucking headphones. Anyway, I don't flop too much, 9 deuce 3, 2 hearts, but he's going to check fold this a lot because he's just not going to 3-bet anything, so he's going to call with too much garbage, and he check calls 20. The turn is a king, and then he leads 60. He leads 3/4 on this card. And, all right, I call. I mean, when he goes big, he tends to have something, and why is he betting my card? But, okay, call. And then the river was, I think it was a 5 of hearts. Backdoor flush came. Yeah, king was a heart on the turn. And I have the 4 hearts for what that's worth. And he checks. And I make a bad check. I mean, I should just either bet small or maybe even overbet, because thinking maybe top pair is good. I mean, because this guy has heroed me before and won, and whether he's heroed me in spots with hands that he played incredibly silly and loses to a lot of value range, but I happen to be bluffing that time. I mean, it's just, the guy is just so strange and silly that this would have been a good spot to try and own his fucking face off with just top pair and bet like 300. I could also bet 10% pot to either induce some spaz raise or just get called by a really stupid hand. You know what he had? Pocket jacks. Flat small blind, doesn't 3-bet me, flops an overpair, doesn't check raise, gets a bad turn card, and now bombs into me. Because what? He's afraid of being put in a spot? I mean, I think that's what he's trying to do. I mean, I would have, probably bet turn and river. So in that sense, you might say his play kind of worked out for him, but that doesn't mean he should be doing that. I mean, it's just, what? Like I said, the guy is really strange and really silly. He has an easy 3-bet pre. And if he doesn't want to 3-bet, okay, well, fine. But he can check raise his flop very easily. He doesn't do that. He gets this turn card, and now he leads. I mean, what is he doing? What is he doing? I mean, it's just, what is he doing? I mean, the guy is just, I fuck this guy. I mean, I don't bum hunt him. But yeah, I felt like I should have bet something on the river just because I know he's going to call too much. I mean, he would have called, and he would have called with jacks. He's 100% calling a small bet with jacks. maybe even half pot. I mean, if I bet 300, is it calling? Maybe, because he's got the hard blocker. He might. I mean, that's another spot I missed. I mean, I know top pair, no kicker, you're really threading the needle. So I'm not saying that this total clicking line, he's just such a clicker. I'm not saying this line should ever be expected, but it's not a surprise coming from him. So, I don't blame myself for being confused, because why the fuck would he do that? All right, so that concludes a busy week, everybody. Gonna get back out there in a day or two, I guess. Until then, wow, just try and unwind from this. It was pretty exhausting, so I feel like this was probably a long show. I don't know how long I've been talking here, but all right, we'll talk again soon, guys. See you next time.